All right, Virgo, this is your December 2022 read. As I shuffle the cards, I'm also going to let you know that I'm doing a holiday special. So if you want a personal private read, I am offering those at half off the usual rate. And don't forget, you could also come hang out in my Facebook group, Living in Alignment to Rapidly Manifest, for free every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm not going to do it on traditional, typical American holidays, but every Friday, 6 p.m. in my Facebook group, or the holiday special, which I put in the chat replay. So without further ado, Virgo. Oh, Virgo, you are waking up to like the need for love in your life. You're waking up for the need for companionship in your life. You're waking up to like really start playing. So yeah, that is right, guys. In 17 minutes, I'm gonna go live in my Facebook group if you're catching this on Friday when I'm recording this. But Virgo, you're waking up to the need for companionship, for friendship, for love. You're just starting to recognize that there's more importance on it than you thought you were. So you might be like a high masculine man who pursued his career, and maybe like push girls to the side or treated them as options. But now you're like, wait, dang, that's actually really important. So you're like waking up to that on the day to day, and you're remaining hopeful about it happening, and like you could think it's possible. There's a little bit of like a lost feeling, like where do I start, right? Because like let's just stick with the story of like the high value man. Women used to chase you and pursue you, um, but because you had so many options, you weren't necessarily developing relationship skills, like validation, communication, conflict and repair, those types of things. So it would be worth a little bit of your time and effort to kind of brush up on relationship skills and how to keep a basic human being like happy, you know? Because what's going on for you at the soul lesson is that you're rewriting the lack of you in relationships. Instead of like this whole everyone out for themselves, everyone's just trying to get what they can out of relationship, just viewing relationships as like a source of drain on you. You got to rewrite it to realize that relationships can be a source of replenishment, renewal. They can be a source of like awesome support, whether or not the person's bringing like 50-50 financially. If they're like, how do I say this? I want to keep using the example of like a high value man, like a guy who's making money and he's like, "Oh, why don't, I don't need the woman at home doing the homemaking stuff like cleaning because I hire that out. I outsource that." Okay, check it out though. So you do need people in your life. The only difference right now is you've outsourced it and made it impersonal instead of allowing someone up close in your life and made it personal. So you do need people. You're not independent. Okay. And the second point there is there's a difference between someone cleaning your house for money versus someone cleaning your house because they love you. That person's going to be there and wake up in the morning and be like, "Oh, my babe didn't sleep well. Let me go make that cup of coffee for him." The housemaid's gone already. She collected her check. She cleaned the house to your specifications. There is some value to having someone there who just like loves you and wants to spend time with you. They're going to be a person there who's, "Oh, wow, you had a rough day at work. Let me get the kids taken care of. You just go chill in your office, kind of wind down before you come join us. Let me give you a back rub later." When you make it personal, you get those little bit of extra perks. And just because you might be more the financial provider, do you see those like extra kind of emotional well-being perks that you get? So I think it'd be wise for you, whether you're like the man or the woman, the masculine or the feminine, just kind of brush up on the value of what the counterpart brings and not so much 50-50 finances, right? Um, c- Masculine energy and feminine energy just brings different things to a relationship. When I had an argument with a guy I was dating one time, we both identified the problem. But in my head, I was like, "Dang, how do I explain this to him?" And, like, I actually tried to practice, and I'm like, "Dang, I need at least, like, 50 sentences to explain this." He just kinda said, "Hey, look, I'm feeling very discouraged. I figured out our problem, and I can state it succinctly." I, like, perked up. I went, "You can?" I'm like, "What?" Because I can't. I knew the solution, but I didn't know how to succinctly state the problem. And he succinctly said it in 2 sentences. My jaw just dropped and hit the floor. And he was like, "But look, I don't see a way out of it. And it kind of doesn't matter how much we like each other. Like, if we can't solve this problem, I don't see a way forward." And I went, "I'm so glad you said that succinctly. Like, I actually do have a solution." And I stated the solution. He went, "Oh, shit. That's like really good." Prior to that, he had been insisting on finances 50-50, blah, blah, blah. And it was like a That's just not gonna happen. There's gonna be at least like three months when I'm down and out, 8 month of pregnancy in the first 2 months, I'm not gonna be able to work. Like, what do you want from me financially then? Or, so it's just recognizing that people bring different things to the table. Not all of them are quantifiable. Some are about enjoying life more. So you got to be like a little open to that. And you got to recognize that that's not a drain on you if you're the one paying 70%, 80%, or even 100% of the rent. If they're bringing in like art and just, so that instead of you coming home to an empty house and humdrum, but you come home to more lively house, a more festive house, and more like, oh, I feel loved, I feel respected, I feel admired, I feel valued, you're going to enjoy life better with those emotional state of beings in your life. So you really got to flip the script on viewing relationships as lack and people just trying to take from you. And that's just source of like you probably had trauma when you were younger. But this is why I'm offering the holiday special, guys. You could book the holiday special and I could help you flip that if this video wasn't enough for you. So what you have going on in your recent past is well, this is a little bit of a blunt message, Virgo. There's a little bit of like snob arrogance energy in you that you're kind of recognizing. Oh shit, I was a little snobbish, I was a little arrogant. I wasn't like valuing them as much. I was you th- you thought you had more value than you actually had, or like you thought you had enough value that other people would just put up with a lot of like bullshit from you. And like it kind of just had pride will not get you anywhere. And you started to have that kind of like awakening. You didn't finish the awakening, but you're starting to recognize. Hopefully, this video wakes you up. Like being prideful, I'm the higher value person. They should be calling me. Yeah, that's going to leave you single and alone. Um, and the reason why I say the lesson isn't fully learned, because in your present, you got the nine of coins, and that is the ultimate financial success card, but also the single and alone card. So you've got the finances, you've got the awesome houses, maybe the vacations and all like the financial jazz, but you don't have the love life and the friends. Like, and that's where like your friend circle is probably met by like coworkers. But guys, once you leave that place of employment, they're not your friends anymore. They were friends by proximity, not like lifelong friends. Um, so like your lesson is kind of like you've been in pursuit of like all these finances and you just kind of recognize that that's not all there is. And just because the other person doesn't value it as much, I kind of feel called to share a little bit. That same guy that I was dating, um, he was like, no, 50-50 finances, 50-50 finances. And I just kind of told him, I was like, look, like that's not fair. I understand based on your dating history why you're protecting yourself. It sounds like you did kind of get taken advantage of. However, like I can tell you when you had your first $30,000 month, you said it felt like the greatest source of achievement for you and you were hungry and wanted more. When I had my first $30,000 month, I was like, woo, excitement. And then it was like, wait, but that's it? That's it? That's all I thought it was gonna feel even better. But when I had a little 1.5-year-old holding both of her hands were on my arm and she kept putting up my lip, and I just, like, sat there and taught her how to I went, "Mwah, mwah," for, like, 45 minutes, and she was practicing. That was the most like, a source of, like, rechargement, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I wanna do that." I loved that. And I just explained to him, like, "Look, like, when the kids get sick, you're a career man. You're gonna choose work," and be like, "Ah, the kid can, like, suck it up." He's like, "Well, yeah, they can." And I went, "Right, but ultimately they can't." And he went, "Well, they can't, but" and I went, "Okay, I know that I would be the first person to cancel and rearrange my client calls that day, and I would go pick the kid up from daycare, and I would take care of them." It's like, "How are you gonna hold me responsible for 50% of the bills? And are you open to realize that, like, balance comes in different ways? It's not necessarily balanced 50-50 finances, but it's I balance it by picking up the slack when there's slack in the family realm. You get to keep working. You are going to be paying 60, 70, 80% of the rent. Maybe you pay all of the rent, but like I bring the fun money to the table. I bring the let's start the kids their stock portfolio money. So it's kind of an eye opening conversation for him. But Virgo, that's kind of like your same lesson. It's recognizing that balance doesn't mean they bring the same thing to the table that you do. You want someone who brings something different. Someone who goes, "Hey, babe, like our daughter." whatever our daughter's name is, like, she's feeling a little lonely and like would need some time with you. Here are 3 things I thought of that you guys could do that I know that she would love and that I know will work with you with your hurt back. Do you see how that is value? She's making sure that you have a relationship with your daughter so that after your daughter turns 18 and gets financially independent, you still have that relationship. She's doing the relationship management and she's planning events that the daughter will love and feel loved by you and one that's within your capability. That is of value. It's just not bringing money to the table. So you're really going through kind of like what feels like a rude awakening, what feels like it can feel very sombering when people are going through this lesson. Um, that it's not all about like money and that like relationships are more important than you thought they were. And going to the future, you got the swords. So it does look like you are going to kind of like learn this lesson this month, Virgo. And this is like the card that it's like it feels like a bitter pill to swallow with Six of Swords, but it's kind of like you're leaving your old ways behind. And I keep getting the energy of like a high masculine man in this read. So that looks like you're giving up your Playboy days. That whole energy of like, I'm a high value man. I will like exercise my options. Like, I'm sorry, a high value man provides protection, safety. How can you be providing safety for your wife at home if you're off like effing some other girl? So that makes you not high value. Sure, you're a man with options, but a high value man. And you guys got to look into the chemicals and the hormones of like how men and women fall in love. I'm forgetting it's vasopressin, the hormone that where men fall in love. Um, there's a secondary emotion that hormone that kicks in for men that really just make them want to focus in on the one woman and make sure she's provided for, knowing that when she's provided for, she's fully looking out like for the family. So it's kind of like it looks like you are giving up those like Playboy kind of player days, just your old lifestyle that you like loved and where it was like a kind of it almost seems like you're going from like prince to king, like that energy of here I am, I showed up, shouldn't you just be happy that I'm here? To recognizing, oh, you got to tend to the relationship every day. You got to check in like daily, like, hey, how was your day? Tell me about your day. And just like you providing a listening ear is something of value. And it's like, it's not needing that ultimate praise and recognition when you walk into a room. You're kinda leaving those days behind to be more of, like, a stable provider, a stable person in someone's life, because companionship is important, and it looks like you lost some relationships just because the steady companionship wasn't there. Because guys, no matter how hot you are, whether you're man or female at this point, no matter how hot you are, no matter how, like, high value you are, if you're not steady in that person's life, when someone steady comes in, right? Well, someone who's still in their like toxic cluster B phase, will they push away the good partner, whether man or woman, just to like hold out for the high value person? Yeah, but that's a cluster B toxic person. Someone who has like some self worth, some self esteem, they might pause a little bit because you're like hot and all that in a bag of chips. But then when there's that steady person in there, at some point it's going to be, oh, wait, this is what's important. Okay. So right now your energy, what your biggest lesson is, your biggest lesson right now is not to like view relationships as a deterrent to your career. It's recognizing that it's not career or love. That is there's a way to blend both. And that's when you got to recognize that it's not about getting that 50-50 financial partner, but that person who could really bring a lot of the relationship management. Because let's say you are the high masculine man and you do get a woman, maybe she works, maybe she doesn't, but if she provides all the relationship management, she'll be the one kind of maintaining the relationship with your family too. She'll be the one taking some of those phone calls. That way, when you get off work, you don't have to call auntie, call uncle, go and run and do this thing because maybe she went and ran and did that thing earlier in the day, right? So it's recognizing that relationships can bring value. They're not a deterrent to your career, but they're only going to give you like a stronger launch pad to be more secure in your career. So outside influences around you right now. Wow, this is such an interesting specific read. You guys got to give me comments down below. It looks like people are kind of viewing you as like a sex only person, that you're only good for like fun and frolics and fun times and sexy times. Um, s- You got a little damage control there to do if you want those people back into your life. You got to call. You are going to have to prove yourself a little bit if you want to get old people back into your life. If you're fine with just starting afresh with new people who don't have that image of you like the playboy, um, just be aware of that. Okay, this is your hopes or fears card. Three of Swords. Okay, your fear is that you like, there's a couple things coming up here. You may have messed it up with someone. You may have like messed it up with them, and you're like, it seems like you're really sad about a relationship that, for whatever reason, you're not feeling hopeful about. Maybe rekindling would be my inclination. But are like your fear is that like, damn, I missed the sailboat. I missed the sailboat to love, and now I just gotta accept and settle and get whatever I can get. But like, no, that's just a fear. Let it be passing. Let it be passing. Because no, it's not like you don't have to settle in the sense that you deserve a 10, but it's like you don't have to settle in the sense that now you have to go for someone that you don't like. You can still get someone that you like. You can still get someone that you find compatibility with, right? Like, guys, my boyfriend is not 6 feet. My boyfriend is not a multiple six-figure owner. He's 5'5". But when I look at him, there's still attraction there. Instead of like the physical look of him being that thing that gets me 100% ready to like, you know, be fully turned on, it gets me 70% of the way there, and then it's that emotional connection. It's that compatibility. It's that, "Oh my god, he took me to my favorite restaurant. Oh, he called and, like, asked about my day," or, "Oh, he really, even though he had to work late, he, like, hustled to get here on time to, like, meet my friends." That's what gets me to that 10. Um, yeah, so you don't have to settle and go for someone that you don't like. You don't have to settle and go for someone that you don't like. You have to just be willing to put a little more effort into relationships. Okay, and so in your outcome, you got the Page of Swords. So it kind of, honestly, guys, it looks like it's not forgiveness, but it's like a good clarifying conversation with someone else will really clear up the air and will really clear up your energy. When I say energy, energy just means your default emotional state. It will clean up your emotional state so you get mental clarity so that you could either patch things up with them or you could powerfully move forward in your life and like just move on from this lesson. And a lot of the lesson for you is letting go of like arrogance. Just because you see and know your value doesn't mean you like get to treat people like shit, you know? Or a nice way to word that is just because you see and know your value and a lot of people see it and acknowledge it too, doesn't mean that you get to not put effort into the relationship and expecting them to like do all of it. Okay, if you guys would like any help, that link is in the comment chat replay. You can book a special with me. It's a holiday special, half off the usual rate. You come hang out with me in my Facebook group, which I'm going to go start right now, 6 p.m. on Fridays. Living in Alignment to Rapidly Manifest, where I just go live for free to help you all out. But I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.